Let's not dick up. Let's not.
All right, game time.
Hello, everybody of the sweet community. Welcome. My name is Sol. I am Sol. You might know me. But this is very interesting. This is a Nebula cast. But there's no Mr. Prime himself. Well, you see, Prime is busy. Oh, boo, whatever, who cares? You've got me instead. But this is a very interesting debate because today we are going to do Zuko from Avatar versus Hunter from the Owl House. Now, you might be wondering, why are we doing this matchup? Well, if you don't know, a membership perk is that you guys get to submit a matchup that we do, that these lovely people have volunteered to be a part of. Speaking of lovely people, with me on this jury today, because I am not debating, is the ever so wonderful, ever so lovely Sherm.
That's me.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
And today, debating for Zuko, is the ever wonderful, hard-working Zoro.
Hello. Hey, Zoro here.
And lastly, debating for Hunter, there is the also ever so wonderful, if very busy with all the casts that he's a part of, Kai.
What's up? I love the Owl House, and this is my second time repping Hunter. I'm hoping that I can do a good job again.
So for this show, the Nebula Theatre cast, we run things a little different around here if you might be a fan of the Fan Battle cast, which you should be. We don't have 60 seconds because we talk about the characters. What? I know, we give a little bit of an extended introduction because it's all about selling those matchups that you have picked for us. So, who wants to go first by telling us about their character?
Kai, do you want to go first?
I would say if you want to, because since you're first in the name, you can, but if not, I can go first.
Yeah, I can go first. So, Zuko, you might know him as the Prince of the Fire Nation. Once, son of the Fire Lord Ozai, he was banished for speaking out of turn in a meeting, and his father scarred his face. And thus he was put on banishment. Technically, he was put on a mission to hunt down the Avatar, but the Avatar had not been seen for years. So it was a fool's errand. However, when the Avatar did show up one day, it was his chance to redeem his honor and, reclaim his right among the Fire Nation and accepted and whatnot. And he was one of the major antagonists throughout the first 2 seasons of the show. Throughout it, he starts to see some of the destruction the Fire Nation has caused during the war, and he begins to doubt himself. And even though in the Battle of Ba Sing Se, he makes a stand with his sister and the Fire Nation, he realizes only when he's accepted back that his family was really toxic, did not actually enjoy his life, and thus he betrayed his father, joining Team Avatar and helping them restore balance finally to the world.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I guess I will go. So you may know Hunter from his first appearance as a little shit who showed up and was just cocky. If you stopped there, well, I'm sorry, you should have watched more. I'm sorry. So Hunter is the right hand. Was the right hand of Emperor Belos. Born without magic ability, he was given a chance by Belos to reach his true potential, gifting him a magical staff and a high-level position as the leader of the Emperor's coven. Hunter was extremely loyal, believing to be a true noble, and being really justified in all of his actions and everything, and truly believing in Belos's mission, the one that he told everyone that he was doing. He even looked up to him as a father figure. In truth, though, Hunter was not what he was told. Hunter was a clone of a long-dead friend of the Emperor, Caleb, and was in fact not even the first one. He was one of many that had all been killed because they were not loyal enough, or they were failed attempts of the cloning process. They had all betrayed the Empire, and he was the only one that actually stuck around. Upon realizing his true origins, Hunter was forced to flee, and he would come across the group that he had been kind of terrorizing with Luz and Amity, and would discover that you don't need to be a dick. And he would find some real love with Willow, and would help and fight back against the man who created him, and truly come into his own as a person, not just a clone.
Well, how very interesting about these both characters. I will also say, as a little disclaimer, because I've already seen it in chat, please don't leave suggestions here. Not only are we just not going to read them because I'm reading the chat and I just ignore them, there is a dedicated Discord that you can join in the description where you can post your matchup suggestions. So join that instead of putting it here. You're more likely to get a conversation out of it. Anyway, I guess... how do we want to start this? My dear friend Sherm. I'm thinking to learn about the abilities of these two first. But how do you feel?
I'd love to know, like, how they fight. Like, what do they do when they're... Do they box? Do they throw hands?
Well, I can take the lead on that.
Sounds good.
So Zuko kind of has a mix of abilities. While bending is based on martial arts, a lot of his fire-bending martial arts just allow him to create fire. And these comes in various forms. He can create this typical fire projectiles, fireballs. He can do like a fiery slash type of thing. He can make a whip out of fire that he can use to like wrap around someone and chuck them around. He can also do short bursts of fire through his hands and feet in order to create jets that allow him to kind of like hover and fly around. And through the hands, he can also kind of like form them to be like short daggers that he can use as like basically fire weapons. He is also surprisingly not just at bending, but he's also very proficient in dual wielding swords. So even if his bending goes down for whatever reason, he is still going to be able to keep up martial wise in close quarters. So yeah, he's really more of an upfront fighter. Get up close, burn people up with the fire, or his fire bending is not an option. Then just slice people up with swords.
All right.
Hunter also has some elemental abilities too, right?
Yes, he does. So he does have the ability to do up close stuff. We see a little bit with his fight with Amity. He kind of uh he loses, but it's like really close. And he had also not slept for like I think it was 2 days. Um, and it even stated that he likely would have won if he was at like full strength and not weary. Um, but his preferred is not hand to hand up close. It is with his magical staff, uh, which he's got. Technically, he's had a couple. He's had two. So his original one, and then he has one with a palisman. Um, Sure. I don't know if you still had last time we did that we did this, you had a replica of his staff. Do you have it still? Hell yeah.
It's the new one, but yeah,
Ooh,
waffles.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to see if that was still a thing. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, he is able to use his magical staff despite not having any magic himself. Unlike Luz, who originally needed glyphs, Hunter was granted a magical staff, which allows him to do telekinesis, has an artificial teleport similar to Belos's. He has creation magic. He was able to create a sword out of thin air. So he's actually not too bad with a sword. But one of his big things is his couple things of elemental magic. He has lightning energy blasts, which he's able to shoot a massive volley of at once. Water magic, he was able to travel through the actual boiling isle part, just in a giant water fist. And he is able to use earth magic. He was able to control the dirt and sand during his fight against Ida and Luz, and actually start bringing fists up from the ground. I don't know what his thing is with punching people with the elements, because that's a reoccurring theme.
You watched a lot of Full Metal Alchemist. It was like, hey, that sounds like a pretty cool move.
You know what? I respect it though. That's a good anime choice.
I mean, hey, I'm sure if Zuko could just coat his fist in fire and just throw hands with fire, he'd do that too.
I honestly, yeah. But yeah, he does. So he is definitely capable of up close fighting, and he's not too bad at it. But he's much more of a zoner, if you will.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, are these guys' abilities comparable? Would they be kind of when they see each other's fighting styles? Would they be like, "I've seen this before. I kind of know how to fight this"?
Yeah. So for Zuko, this would probably be in the ballpark. As his time as both a Fire Nation soldier and part of Team Avatar. He's faced a countless number of benders, both water benders and earth benders. So seeing Hunter kind of manipulate water and earth probably wouldn't be too out of the ballpark for him. And actually, I have an interesting argument to make that's somewhat on balance. But at one point in the Legend of Korra, since Zuko does make an appearance there, he, along with a few other waterbenders, are able to go head-to-head with a few of the members of the Red Lotus, which Zuko states to be, any one of these benders are the top of their field in their respective bending styles and could have the potential to, take out any other bender in the world. And he was able to hold his own against multiple other benders at once. And we're talking about people with, like, someone who water bends without any arms, with water tentacles. Zahir, who just, how he does with air bending, of, like, sucking the lungs right out of your system. And a guy who is able to not only bend earth, but lava bending as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, and just to follow up, since in that same fight scene, hey, Saul, could you bring up the dragon?
The what?
The dragon picture?
You didn't name any of these, so I will...
Oh,
yeah,
apologies.
I'll have to figure out which one you mean.
It should be the, if they're in order, it should be number 5?
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's hope.
Yep, they're in order.
Yeah! So yeah, Zuko has a dragon.
Huh.
That's pretty cool.
That is
He's a
cool.
dragon.
So yeah. Let me just look up his... He has a name. Oh yeah, so this is Druk. He is a descendant of the dragons he learned his newfound firebending style, the Art of the Dancing Dragons, from. He uses it as a mount and can fight with him. The reason why I bring him up, not only because it would look cool to have, like, him riding his dragon, like Hunter and his palisman, that would make for a fun fight, but specifically because Hunter has faced a similar beast that, isn't quite a dragon, but is very dragon-esque, with Kikimora, the little thing they uses to do the pilot. And Hunter, even at his full strength, had difficulties taking it down without Luz's help. So my argument is, if he's struggling against that from Kikimora's beast with help alone, Zuko has an equivalent, if not stronger, version of that creature at his beck and call. So Hunter's going to have a pretty hard time dealing with Mr. Dragon here.
I see.
If we give Zuko his dragon, do we want to give Hunter the friendly palisman he made in like the epilogue scene where he's like hanging out with like 5 different palismen at the end there?
That
I don't see why.
Throg, where he's sending all his children in. I imagine that's like all the palisman.
Go, my palisman! Oh wait, they're mad out of wood! No! Oh no!
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing, right? Just like, this is fun,
Yeah.
it's wood.
Yeah.
No!
To be fair, Hunter would be able to use magic to avert the fire from burning. But if he had all of them there and was like trying to like send them after the dragon, I don't think he'd have a way to stop them from burning.
Yeah, palismans are really strong when they're on the end of a staff, but if they're just on their own, they ain't doing too hot.
Yeah.
Unintended.
Ugh. Not the win con I was expecting you to pull out.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going through and I'm like, hang on a minute.
Dragon. Excuse me.
Okay, so that's...
I can.
But yeah, that's a bit on like how Zuko would handle like Hunter's general play style, is just throw a dragon at him and be used to bending. I throw the ball into your court. Is Zuko's arsenal something Hunter would deal with?
So I definitely think that it is something that he'd be able to deal with. For one, fire is just kind of like it's pretty common as a magic type. So it's not something he's definitely seen before. I mean, it's something that Luz has used. Now something directly from his hands that might throw him for a little bit of a loop. But in the same way that I think it would throw Zuko a little bit for a loop, seeing Hunter use multiple elements, because that is something that is exclusive to the Avatar, and so he might see Hunter show off some form of water, like the water manipulation, and be like, "Oh, cool, waterbender. All right, I know what I have to do here." And then all of a sudden, get punched from the earth, and then he has a moment of panic. So there is some of that.
Yeah, it could catch him off guard, although one of his main things in the early show was hunting down the Avatar, master of all 4 elements, so definitely catch him by surprise, but it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary.
But what would work a bit more in his favor is Zuko would not expect the telekinesis or the teleportation. As far as I can remember from Avatar, that's not something that really happens.
Yeah, I mean, when you say telekinesis, do you just mean like lifting things up and chucking them?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, one could say that the earthbending is kind of like telekinesis, but I get what you mean. Definitely some abilities that Zuko has not really prepared for.
The flight would also give him a bit of an advantage there, because I know Azula did the like blast around, basically flying thing. Did Zuko ever do that?
In the comics, he's shown to do that.
Okay.
Plus, if you don't buy that, again, he has a dragon.
He does have a dragon
to fly on.
But in the one-on-one Hunter, I do think he has the advantage with flight, telekinesis, and teleportation. And he would be ready for all of his fire and lightning. I forgot Zuko never did lightning bending. Oops.
He can redirect, but
he can redirect.
We'll get more into that when we go into stats.
But he would be ready for all of Zuko's fire, and would be able to handle him if he tried to get up close and personal. So I do think that they both have some methods of catching the other off guard. I don't think, one thing I will say, I don't know if because in the Owl House, no one just like punches their fist forward and all of a sudden there's fire. There's like a whole bunch of motion you got to do. So if he just sees Zuko punch at him, he's not going to expect fire. But after one time, he's going to get that figured out.
Yeah. Although that leads me into another counter argument I have.
Uh-oh.
And that, outside of like his staff, you know, whether it's the training one or his palisman ones, and his glyphs, a lot of Hunter's magic, we don't really see him using it a lot outside of it, because innately he doesn't really have magic. He needs to kind of rely on outside means to do it. So
right.
Zuko could potentially disarm him, and that way Hunter's options become a lot more limited. Whereas with Zuko, he's able to continue using fire, you know, even if, like, yeah, you could take away his swords, but, like, as long as he's still breathing, like, he'll be able to, like, conjure up fire and keep it going.
True. It is a thing with the palisman. He would have to actively not just disarm Hunter, but destroy the palisman, because it can just come back to him.
Oh, yeah,
But, I do see what because during that moment, but like I said, Hunter is not without hand-to-hand skill, so I do think that he could kind of fight back at least enough for him to get his staff back. But that definitely would put him a little bit on the back foot.
Yeah.
Doesn't Hunter get the ability to like do some stuff without a palisman in season 3?
Minimal. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing. He's able to do some like some of his more basic stuff, like his telekinesis and his like basic magic barrier stuff. But from like his energy projection, he's not able to do like the massive like lightning barrage thing that he does. It has to be like the one.
I thought he was able to like do the dash around thing.
That was the big one, is that the magic dash, which I think, did I forget to bring that up earlier? I think I
You
might
brought
have.
it up very briefly. It's like a teleportation thing.
Well, so he is able to do the magic dash, which he's able to do without his talisman, which is pretty nifty. Which is weird because again he has no innate magic, but we're just gonna ignore that. No. But that would definitely give him a pretty massive advantage. Trying to fight against Zuko, because it's like an instant dash that moves him pretty good.
He's kind of like Tracer.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
without the recall.
Like the you. All right. I guess since we're getting into it, it would definitely help Hunter keep up. Although I do think Zuko would have the reaction time to help keep it, because when he uses that in this fight against Amity, she's able to, like, after a few tries, just kind of catch on. And even when, like, he comes in a direction that she doesn't anticipate, she still has, like, a few seconds to, like, readjust and, like, keep active.
Yeah.
Saul, could you bring up pictures 2 and 3?
And 3. Assuming this is the right order.
Yeah.
2? Okay.
Yep, this is it. Yep. So yeah, as we kind of mentioned before, Zuko is able to redirect lightning. And this is a blast of lightning that he took, like, just a few feet away from when his father shot it back at him. And you can go over to the other one. It's just another angle of him shooting it.
Just talking and bring it up.
Yeah. And I'm just pulling up the calc here. But, alright. Oh, I don't think I have an exact reaction time. But, you know, the fact that he was able to, you know, like, this is, like, lightning fast speed. Like, so he's able to, like, kind of react to that from just a few feet. Then I don't think he'd have, like, he'd definitely be caught off guard by, like, the teleportation, but after a few times, he should be able to start reacting to it as well. Like, the only time he failed to redirect lightning is when Azula hit Katara, and that was less because Zuko wasn't able to react to it, but more that, you know, he was taking the hit, more focused on protecting Katara than redirecting the hit.
That's
Right.
like a really funny speed feed for me, because we always separate, like, reaction time from, like, running speed. But in order to intercept that attack from Katara, he does just have to run, like, 10 feet.
Run.
So you could argue he runs as fast as
So-
lightning, which is very
So
funny to
lightning
me.
timing, you don't have a number, do you?
I did not have a number for it off the top of my head. I thought I had it written down on this thing. I have the degrees of fire that he can do, but for some reason I didn't think to write down the exact count for the flippin' lightning feat.
Damn. I guess I can bring up my speed.
While you do that, I'm gonna see if I can find a number.
So I have two. One that is travel, and one that is reaction. So I believe. Make sure I am not okay. Can you bring up image Hunter not fly yet?
Hunter not fly yet, going live.
Okay, so this is the first bit. Just him. This was before he joined up with losing them, being a cocky little asshole. And then right after that, can you bring up Hunter Flies 1? Which there's only one of them. I don't know why there's. I don't know why I put one on there.
Here you go.
My naming convention was weird for these. So that's just him taking off. So he was able to fly from this place on screen to off and out of sight within a couple seconds, which is around what was it? It was make sure I'm reading it right. Yeah. 156 meters per second, or subsonic speeds. which is pretty good. And then, but the big one is reaction speed, which we went over yesterday with the cast. Make sure I'm bad with my naming. Can you? Did I not send that to you?
Said what to me? Everybody point and laugh.
Yeah, I'm a failure. I'm sorry.
Is 100% made up with no evidence.
Our House isn't even a show. This is just like some weird OC he came up with.
I'm sending you one more. I'm sorry.
How unprofessional.
I know.
Yeah, who would do that? Says the guy who needs to look up his calc on stream.
Oh, right. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-deprecation. Oh,
self-deprecation. No, I could have sworn I sent this and I didn't, and now I've ruined the whole cast. Anyway, so for reactionary, no, this is not light speed. I'm not gonna try and sit here and argue that Hunter is light speed.
Good.
But this is a relativistic speed feat. That being able to react to this light glyph, that I think it's possible, and I think it's kind of dubious at this point, arguing between whether or not it is like actual light or just like light based or what. At this point, it's just it's up in the air to your personal interpretation. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Hunter is light speed. I will say that it gets him around relativistic, maybe a little slower, but around the same as what you would get with lightning reactions. Excuse me. Meaning that there's no massive speed edge here for either character, which could potentially put that in Hunter's favor, since his magic dash would give him an additional speed bump on top of his reaction speed. But it wouldn't be anything like massive. So at the very least, they're around even.
All right, yeah, I can see that. Also, the low end for the lightning reaction feat would be about like 601 meters per second, which is like Mach 1, so kind of like around the supersonic range that we were theorizing for Hunter as well. So yeah, I'd say they are about even in that category.
All right.
But can I let me ask you this. How physically strong is Hunter?
I would say he's pretty strong.
All right. Saul, can you bring up picture number 1? Is he strong enough to break metal? Because Zuko can do that with his foot.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He definitely has. Hunter definitely has a bit of scaling that can help him with that.
Oh, all right.
So, there's a part where Luz is on a big pirate ship, and she is having to deal with a giant sea monster thing, and the ship is pretty much they're all just kind of accepting their fate. But she is able to use her ice and plant magic in order to stop it. The important part here is after hitting it, trapping it with some ice, she uses her vine magic to not only wrap around it, but pull it off of the ice. And I believe this is one. Can you pull up? Selkie hits a wall.
This is like a really minor blink and you miss it moment, but I do know that Hunter, I'm pretty sure, like breaks a rock with a flapjack in the season 2 finale just by like hitting it.
He does, yeah. I didn't even think to he's that. But yeah, that's the monster. And Luz is able to wrap it up and kind of pull it around. And on top of that, characters in the Owl House are pretty regularly like taking and dishing out hits that are like cracking and like breaking boulders. Like I think it was like one of the first episodes where we get to see like Luz at the Witch Academy. She's literally just knocked into a wall, and it sends like a like a crack all the way up the pillar, and like breaks something at the ceiling. And that was her. So those feats are pretty consistent throughout the Owl House. Is that? I think that's. I would say that's because I could. I remember I tried with the last time I repped Hunter. I wanted to see if I could get it past with scaling him to Willow, holding back Bellows. But I'm not even gonna try that again. That didn't. That
I mean,
was
if
not.
at first you don't succeed.
I remember I pulled it out last time, and I was immediately hit with, "No, we're not doing that."
All right.
But no.
So, like, Luz, was she, like, using the plants to, like, physically, like, pull the monster, or?
Yes.
Alright, so, like, if that's Luz's magic, I'm just wondering, how does that scale to Hunter being able to do it physically?
Well, because it wasn't like, so she wrapped up the monster, and then you see her grab hold of the vines and physically pull it around.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Also, doesn't he just have those glyphs?
Yeah, he's able to. He learns to make all the glyphs, which I saw something somewhere that was saying that he wouldn't have glyphs anymore because of the new Titan language. I don't know. We don't know if he knows it yet, but I feel like that's just like not fair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull that argument. What I will pull out is an argument that Zuko can counter glyphs.
I see.
Alright, I'll start out with the ones I have pictures for. Saul, this one's going to be 7 first, and then 6. Alright, so, I'm sure you're familiar with this one. This is the moment where Zuko got covered in ice and then broke out of it. Could you show number 6, which is him destroying it?
6.
Yep. And, you know, I'm not implying that Hunter would be able to, like, seal Zuko inside of the ice, just because the ice glyphs just kind of, like, make the ice pop out. But this is just more to show that he has been in situations where he's been, like, around ice, and his fire bending is able to get through it. And even when it does with the cold, the best uncle in all media, Uncle Iroh, actually taught him bending techniques of breathing, which allows him to maintain his body heat in cold temperatures. So there's a little chance that the ice glyphs would be able to kind of hinder his ability to fire bend throughout the fight. And
that's fair.
I wasn't able to grab a picture of it, but during a fight he had with the Rough Rhinos, there was an archer on a rhino back who was going to shoot an arrow at him, and Zuko was able to use fire bending to precisely aim at the bowstring and burn it so that the string would snap and then the Rough Rhino wouldn't be able to shoot him with it. So if he's precise enough to aim for the bowstring, aiming for the glyph and burning them before he has a chance to activate them once he's aware after the first few ones are made and he realizes how important they are, it would be a lot harder for him to, like, actually cast a couple glyphs outside of the initial aha moment.
Okay. It does, because so the paper glyphs are something that he knows how to do. They would kind of be a bit of a last resort because, um, so I briefly brought it up earlier. I don't think I fully went into it. He after, a second an encounter with Belos in the human world, was kind of revived and given innate magic by his palisman Flapjack, meaning he would have access to these glyphs and stuff without the paper. But paper glyphs could end up being a nice surprise, or like something as like a last resort, but he wouldn't
Yeah.
rely on them.
Yeah, and even using like glyphs without like the pre-made papers, it would take him a second to like draw out the circle and do it. So
Yeah, that is something. That is like the big thing with Owl House magic is you have to do the movement, you have to do the circle. You can't. It's sort of similar to doing if most characters in it have a way around it, but like Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like you have to have an alchemist circle. Most characters you talk about have a way around it, but it's like you have to have that specific thing in order to use your main ability. That it can be a bit of a hindrance.
yeah. All right. I guess the last thing I really have for Zuko, since we've kind of gone over like most of his toolkit, is just AP and durability.
Okay.
All right. So I could be that guy and say, oh, well, if he fought on Sozin's Comet, then, then he has like these giant flaming pillars. I'm not going to do that because that's like not standard equipment.
Valid.
So his best feat as far as like firebending and AP would be kind of like being able to melt through steel with his pure firebending.
Okay.
Which would take a flames up to at least 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Or, for those in the UK like Saul, 1,205 Celsius. And, like, even without, like, Sozin's Comet boost, he is able to, like, his firebending is able to produce fires big enough to, like, swallow up buildings that burn him down. So he's roughly... So, he has roughly... Not really a high-tier character, but, he's got some decent firepower. Plus, again, he has a dragon, which can produce a lot more larger flames. So he could probably, like, burn down a town if he wanted to.
Huh. All right. For that, I don't have one that is as hot, but I do have one that is calced pretty high. Can you bring up Gus burns some vines? So this is Gus, who you can kind of see, but he's kind of covered by a line. This is Gus, who is a character that specializes not in any form of attacking magic. He is focused in illusions. So he is always kind of stated to be not as not magically strong. Like his magic isn't as impactful, while because he's more focused on the distraction. And so I do think that it's a pretty easy scale to Hunter. Burning through all of this wood and vine, it comes out to around 277 degrees Celsius. Which, how much did you say Zuko's was in Celsius?
1,205.
Yeah. But this feat was calced at around city block level. Or I gotta make sure I'm doing this right because I forgot to write commas in my number. 100,000 million. So 156 billion joules. I need to remember to do commas in the future. That makes this so much easier.
Yep.
So there's that, and then there's also more scaling to lose, which these are feats that come from before she gets her palisman. So before I would say that she starts to kind of go above people. Make in that thing I showed earlier with the giant Selkie monster. She was able to use her magic to make massive ice pillars, which when calced out, let me make sure. Okay, was calced out to around anywhere from small town, multi-city block to small town level.
Oh, all right.
He's got some options.
All right. That is very impressive. Saul, could you bring up picture number 4 for me?
I don't like the way you said that. Now I'm afraid.
Let me remove this picture. Go into images. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I was about to bring up the star level avatar arguments.
Are there star level arguments? What?
No. It is not star level.
Okay.
This is a picture of Zuko taking a direct blast from Sparky Boom Man, otherwise known as Combustion Man. Someone who specializes in combustion bending. Now then, earlier while he was fighting, it is stated that, with his combustion bending, he'd be able to blast the Western Air Temple right off of the side of the mountain it was carved in. And people have scaled this conveniently enough to be around large building to small town levels of power. So it seems like Zuko can take hits to roughly, Hunter's AP.
Okay. I was not expecting Sparky Boom Boom to come out here.
Oh yeah. And he's also tanked a similar blast in his elder years from someone else with combustion bending. I forget her name.
Okay. Hunter is pretty damn tough. He's taken pretty consistent hits from Luz, Amity, and then later on he's taken some hits from Belos. Now these weren't. I will argue that these were not, like full power hits. The ones from Amity probably were. She hated him.
I mean, he was messing with her girl, so
Exactly. But I don't think Luz was like hitting him full strength, and like Belos sucks. And so, like, he definitely would hit him full strength. I just don't think he cared enough to.
He wasn't putting his back into it.
Right. But it does show that he's able to take... He's able to take kind of similar level hits. So, I don't think... So, thankfully, I don't think that there's a really big durability gap there.
Yeah, it seems like they can take pretty similar hits.
So it sounds like we're kind of settling on in terms of speed and strength. Y'all are kind of vibing with them being relative for the most part.
Yeah, pretty relative.
Yeah. Like, Hunter probably has a slight edge just because of, like, the teleportation gimmick, but it wouldn't be enough to really make a huge difference.
That's more like a stylistic thing than a raw speed thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else you wish to talk about?
Let me just double check my notes.
Same.
I do have a question because I was kind of thinking about this while you were describing how they fight.
Right.
I was thinking about the Bender Zuko fights and the way Hunter fights and who be most comparable. I was thinking it sounds a lot like Aang from Book One because like they both use stats, they both have very agile, dodgy, borderline super speed fighting style. I'm kind of wondering how do we think Hunter's fighting style would compare to like Aang's fighting style? Would they be like similar enough for like Zuko to get the edge, or do we say Hunter's better than Aang?
I would say that as like a raw fighter, I think they're probably. I think at that point, Hunter was probably better. And there's definitely some similarities there. The difference is the way that they look at a fight, because if Aang is super childish and wasn't taking he was a pacifist, so he wasn't like trying to do a whole lot in terms of damage. He was more trying to redirect and incapacitate, whereas Hunter is not. He is just kind of much more straightforward than Aang ever was. But I do think that the comparison is there with staffs, the elemental attacks, and the kind of fast and the in your face style.
I'm just thinking specifically of when Aang was like, I think it was like the giant mole episode where they were fighting on like a well, and Aang was just like dodging all Zuko's attacks, like borderline between frames. And I was just thinking like they both seem to like basically dodge around until they get the opportunity to like hit the person. So I was thinking,
yeah. Although I will say, if you want to make that comparison, I know it was kind of like a 2v2 situation, but in their last real serious fight where they went head to head, Aang was defeated by Azula and Zuko working together.
Yeah.
And again, 2v2. I know Azula did the final hit, but Aang also
and that was a version
Katara,
of Aang that had more elements like Hunter would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Something else to point out is I didn't really think about it until just now, because I was talking about it earlier when he how he used his the water magic to move through the boiling isle. That shows at the very least some level of resistance to heat, to like extreme heat, because in like the water in the boiling isles, just the steam induces third-degree burns. And so he's literally enveloped in this water and moving across, moving underneath the water. There has to be at least some level of heat resistance there.
I guess, but you could also say that it was a part of the water manipulation that he wasn't directly exposed to it.
Well, because like touching the water itself would have been like it's something that like is kind of regularly shown to be like ridiculously like painful, but even just the steam is what is able to do these massive burns. So I don't know if I feel like you just being encased, because he's fully encased in a giant fist of water, and so I feel like to some degree he has to be like resistant to that level of heat.
I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, after he was let out of the water fist, his like armor and clothes were like steaming.
They were, yeah.
Also, that's another point in the strange fascination with fists, because there's no reason that water had to be a fist.
There's
It wasn't
none.
attacking anyone. That was just
Literally none.
transportation.
It's literally, he was the golden guard. He was just ruling with the iron fist. It's all about branding.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
Brandon
the
Matters
magic.
Yeah.
Branding.
He
never stops.
He learned from Green Arrow wanting a ranged punch to the face.
All he needs is a boxing glove on the end of his magic. I don't really have much else to say about Zuko outside of like final argument stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that leads into final arguments while I make the poll.
All right.
I shall make my final arguments. I do believe that this is a very close fight. Like, I could definitely see some scenarios where
Shim,
Hunter
can you make the
wins,
poll for me?
but
I don't have
you know.
permission.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
sure.
right.
Fuck, I just don't have the permission to do that. Anyway, please continue.
No.
Nah, it's all good. But yeah. But while I do think they're similar in a lot of ways, I do think Zuko has key advantages that put him ahead. Mainly being the fact that between his firebending, it's a more reliable source of power than, like, I know Hunter has innate magic, but he's a lot more reliant on things like talismans and like glyphs in order to get his magic off. So it'd be a lot easier for Hunter to get disrupted. I think Zuko has more formal training in up close personal experience rather than Hunter does in an actual fight. And he's strong enough to break iron, so he has no problem like snapping the wood needed to for talisman. So he would be able to like kind of destroy them if needed. So I do think between that, Zuko does have enough to edge out. And if you don't believe that, again, he has a dragon, and that's gonna help him out a lot.
All right. So I do agree. They are very similar in a lot of ways. And I think stat wise, they're pretty close. I do think that Hunter has at least a little bit of a speed advantage, with especially with his magic dash. He'll have more outside of, I guess, if we're including the dragon. Um, Outside of when that gets involved, um, he have control over the skies. He is more versatile with his multiple different styles of magic attacks. Uh, he is, I would art, he is a more ranged option. Like he's better at range than Zuko, and he's not a he's no slouch when it comes to hand. He would be able to hold his own, meaning that Zuko would have to, I think, get around all forms of his magic with his talisman and his glyphs. Uh, and I just don't think he'd be able to get around both of those. Uh, and I think that Hunter just has everything he needs to stay just a little bit ahead with his speed, and get the win out on this one.
Interesting. Shim, do you wish to start?
Interesting. Sure. So we're kind of just assuming that their stats are basically equal for this fight based on what I've heard so far. And in that case, it sounds like Hunter has a lot more versatility. Because not only does he have his various elemental abilities and his glyphs, but he also has like the telekinesis, which could be basically anything, as well as like the warping, which sounds like it's a better version of Aang's dodging. But on the other hand, we do have. I don't think the disarming would be more than a temporary distraction, because not only can Flapjack or Waffles just fly back to Hunter, but Hunter has like the super speed dash, so he could just like go to wherever it flew off to and like grab it again. I think that Zuko, on the other hand, his big advantage would be his skill and experience. Because even if we took out like the fact that he canonically is like lived a whole 100-year life at this point, we just like took him when he was like younger. He was like traveling the world and learning all these different techniques and fighting all these benders. Whereas Hunter's training seemed to be more like formal, professional, basic training. So I think Zuko's experience and skill would make it so he basically knows how to counter and deal with Hunter's shtick a lot better than Hunter would, if that makes sense. Because Hunter has fought fire before, but I think like Zuko's versatility with fire isn't something we've necessarily seen in Owl House to the proficiency that Zuko uses it at the very least. And also, if that wasn't enough, I think the dragon being a Final Fantasy summon in this fight is just another advantage that I think is better than the Palisman army. So I think I will give my vote in a very close fight to Zuko.
Okay.
So, this is interesting. Very interesting debate. Obviously, stats were kind of equalised, although I think that Hunter has better field mobility through the dashes and the teleportation. It really comes down to a war of attrition and who I think is going to last longer, right? And I think for this debate, this is so funny, because I'm leaning Hunter right now, actually. 50-50 in my mind, I'm not going to lie. This is a super close debate from what I've seen. Even though Zuko has the skill and experience advantage to know a lot of what Hunter's throwing at him, I still think like that knowledge is really good, but I don't think it's the be-all end-all against a figure who is able to teleport and throw these attacks at you, you know?
Yeah.
Again, I feel like in a single war of attrition, like Zuko could definitely win in a lot more scenarios, but I feel like Hunter takes a lot more of them, I guess. The dragon is, funny enough, a very big part of why he would probably get a lot more wins at certain times. Like, Zuko's dragon seems to be very good for battlefield control, but I feel like Hunter could maneuver around it. So I'm going to give it to Hunter, which means we're down to the chat poll. How interesting.
Oh, down to the wire.
It was tied about a second ago, but it's no longer tied. So we're lucky. I will be ending the poll as soon as my website finishes loading. All right.
Okay.
And Zuko wins with 57.
Damn.
Oh my goodness.
Dang. That was... I think this is the closest debate I've partaken in so far on, like...
I think same.
That was a really good debate, man. Like,
That was
you did
fun.
Hunter's well.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because, like, throughout the entire thing, I'm like, don't mention the boiling ocean. Don't mention the boiling ocean. And then we were getting through final arguments like, oh, cool, he didn't mention it. And then last minute, you're like, by the way, he can travel through the boiling Isles.
I think that's another reason why So, like, he's not going to get burnt straight away. It's an interesting debate,
like...
and you two did very well.
Oh, yeah.
This
is
is fun.
Like, this really is a close one. Like, I could see either one going. And like, just the fact that Zuko can fly in a dragon and have, like, aerial interactions with Hunter on his Palisman. Like, I already love this matchup, but I think this has just elevated it to, like, matchups I want to do list.
It would be very fun for this show. If you agree, disagree, let us know in the comments below. Join the Discord. Buy a membership. If you buy a membership, then you would be able to pick a matchup of your own.
Do it.
Yeah.
So, again, just because Prime is not here for a little bit doesn't mean that we are going to be stopping with casts. So there is going to be another one very soon, which is going to be the parental cast, which, if you don't know, matchups were submitted to our Discord, and they had to have a theme of parental figures of sorts. So we will be going through those. Apart from that, I have been your host, Sol. We have had Sherm, Zoro, and Kai. And goodbye.
Oh, wait, Sol, one question before we go. What time would this parental cast be? Oh, wait, well, stay tuned to find out what
I think we have the idea of
we'll
the day. I was literally about to go in and ping people and be like, who wants to be a part of this?
All right, well, keep an eye on the channel updates and messages, and we'll let you know. It'll be happening this week.
Bye, everybody. Bye.